Is Robert Manfred breaking baseball? Is he destroying this great game that we all loved and enjoyed? Well, that's what we're going to get into in today's video. We're going to be talking about his proposed realignment in Major League Baseball. So basically, what is this? What does realignment actually mean? So in baseball right now, there's two leagues, the American League and the National League. And in those leagues, there's three divisions. You've got your Western Division, you've got your Eastern Division, and you've got your Central Divisions. Now, what he wants to do is realign that and put different teams that are kind of in the same region. So you look at my team, the Seattle Mariners, they'd kind of be in the same division with like the Oakland A's or like the Colorado Rockies, and I can't think of the other teams that would kind of be in that, but you kind of get what I'm saying. So like if you're in the central part of the United States, some of those teams would kind of be aligned together. You've got the East Coast, so it would be kind of like the Yankees and the Mets together. Is this a bad decision or is this a good decision? Does this make the game better or does it make it worse? That's what we're going to talk about. So on a Sunday night broadcast, Rob Manfred, who is the commissioner of baseball, the greatest commissioner that we have ever had, the commissioner that brought in the pitch clock, and so many other great things that we know and love. The commissioner that calls the World Series trophy a piece of metal. So basically, he wants to realign the divisions, and then I think MLB wants to expand like into like Portland or Nashville. But I'll talk about some of the bad, and some of it is, he's just tinkering with baseball so much. They've added things like the pitch clock. They want to bring in the ABS system, which would be an automatic ball and strike system. And whenever something like this happens, whenever they bring in new rules like the DH, the wild card, most recently like the pitch clock, and then the thing, like I talked about, the ABS system, everybody loses their minds. Everybody says, no, what are you doing? This is going to hurt the game. This is not baseball. But the bad thing, the number one thing I want to talk about is it would totally change the divisions. So the divisions that we know right now, there's kind of like rivalries and stuff. So like the big one, the NL West, you've got the Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants. That would kind of go away. But on the AL side, you've got the Yankees and the Mets that would kind of be in the division together. So that would still kind of be there. But you've also got teams that would be changing leagues. So like the Houston Astros, they used to be in the National League. Now they're in the American League. They're in the American League West. In this proposed deal or whatever that they want to change, it looks like the Astros would be going back to the National League, and the Philadelphia Phillies would be going to the American League. So it would be a totally different deal. So that would kind of rearrange things. It would realign kind of how teams are in a league now. They'd be switching over. You wouldn't have kind of the same rivalry dynamics. So I could see that being kind of like a negative thing that happens. Do I see that being like a long-term problem? No, not really. I mean, you just look at the pitch clock. Everybody freaking lost their minds. And what about now? Nobody even notices that. It streamlines the games. It makes things quicker. You don't have the pitchers just standing there forever or batters stepping out of the batter's box. It's kind of been an overall good thing, in my opinion, for the game, especially for like casual, newer fans that are coming in. It kind of streamlines things, makes things go a little quicker. It makes it more exciting. So there's that. I think after a while, if this were to happen and they go with this realignment thing, people are going to be upset at first, but I think eventually that will kind of fade away. So, like, the good things. Let's talk about what could be good for this. Well, let's just go back to my favorite team, the Seattle Mariners, who have won like 30 billion World Series in their lifetime. They would be in a division with kind of like weaker competition. I can't remember exactly who they would be in the division with. I think they'd still be with Oakland. I think maybe like Colorado would be in there too. So this would kind of help out teams like that really struggle all the time and never really have success getting into the playoffs or winning much. So that would kind of be an advantage there. You'd have teams that would be in a division with like the expansion teams coming from like Portland. I think the other one's like Nashville. So you'd have like a better chance there. I'm interested to see if they do this kind of realignment, if they would kind of add like an additional playoff team as well. So that could be a positive. I mean, it would make some teams, it would give them like a better chance of making the playoffs. But overall, you know, it's kind of whatever. I don't think it's that big of a deal in hindsight. I think it would be great to add more teams to the league, get more cities, teams and stuff like that they can go out and root for. And I think it would put teams like my Seattle Mariners in a better spot to, you know, maybe compete and everything like that. But then people would be like, oh, that's a Mickey Mouse thing. You know, they got into a weaker division. They're not actually that good. But, you know, I could see that. But I can also see the negatives where you'd lose kind of like rivalries with like the Dodgers and stuff like that. But overall, I think it's kind of a decent thing. I'm more interested in like how the ABS system would work. But overall, I think this isn't that big of a deal. I'm interested to see how it works. And that's my take on it. If you like these videos, like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.